YouTube, welcome to the top 16 of the Meta Weekly every single week. We are right before the calm of the big storm happening, which will be a new super top tier deck likely coming soon to completely pull the meta from the roots and just jumble it up and throw it away as we get ready. If you're sick of this meta, then it's all about to change. Now, by watching as long as you can, that greatly supports this event, even if we're on in the background. I appreciate that. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Fusion, deploy, reveal the Grand Granule, summon the Cartesia. As we now, wait, what the, no! What did you do? Pariah? What the? You have to surrender. Thank you. Begin. Gold Sark. We have Avalon with 0 forms of disruption. I think it's agreed upon, unfortunately, with the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh! That if you do not open up a board breaker or a hand trap that does not get negated, you just lose. Hand traps were to balance decks, but then decks started becoming balanced around hand traps. So if you have a top tier deck balanced with the expectation of them using 1 to 2 hand traps on you and you have none, but now you just auto lose if you have none. We have non-target monster banish. We have reborn, then fuse it either field into a form of disruption. We could reborn the Mirror Jade, and then non-target monster banish again. We could Nibiru, we could brand in red, disruption. We have about 7 forms of disruption, plus Call by the Grave, which could be 8. Tristaros can chain to a Mirror Jade, but is that even good? It's good to get a monster in the grave like the Sulfador, but whatever you synchro into is going to get immediately banished. It won't trigger. Nothing happens with it. Or going to Smiger. Sure, if we want to get Smiger into the graveyard, that could be okay. So we can now activate to search for an inclusion. If we're not getting the Sulfador in graveyard, even better. I agree with that. Let's reborn the Cartesia. Cartesia could get the Mirror Jade in graveyard, which the banishment could then reborn the Mirror Jade. So now have another form of disruption with the Dragostapelia, searching for a Mercurier with the loss for a monster negate. We're going to discard the Citri, summon, pop itself, activate in grave. We're going to Call by the Grave, finger the Sulfaneer. Now, our normal summon has been used up already with our normal summon Tristaros, but we still have a play with Smiger. Smiger Search Inclusion is full combo, but we only have 1 full combo play through a Mercurier, a red, a Banishment, a Dragostapelia, a Nibiru. There's too much. It's now going to send from the deck to the graveyard. Right now, the Mercurier is not activatable, but we could reborn the Mirror Jade to then make it activatable. Let's summon a Coritis, Sulfador, send from the deck, Thysburn, and a Cluster. We could use the inclusion to reborn. It's part of that 1 play. As the Brandon Red attempts to reborn, we're going to Brandon Red get negated by the finger. Not today. Negate. And banish the Albaz. We still have Mirror Jade with the banishment. So reborn our Mirror Jade. Yes, too much. You need a board breaker or a hand trap. And a great board breaker in Crystron is Forbidden Droplet. They could have top decked into that. That could have saved the entire duel. Golem is here. Golem is top tier. The Millennium Engine, I have a sneaking suspicion that Konami is going to want to slap them down. It is way too good. It is an incredible board breaker, combo starter. It could also protect your combos. And we got a wham bam, thank you ma'am, Baron to floor before even committing to our real play. You popped Baron to floor with your Tristaros? What the? I don't know about that. Okay, we could banish with Little Knight, negate with Infinity. We could pop with the Cluster. We got triple disruption. Was it misclick? Had to be, right? wipe up the backer plus field spell. We have Little Knight plus Infinity. Alubur on summon here. Activate searching for a Branded Fusion. Let's Branded Fuse it up. Here's a big problem. Big problem. The Branded Fusion being negated by Infinity states this is going to negate the activation, and Branded Fusion can only be activated once per turn, so a second copy or returning the fusion back to our hand, which we could literally do right now. We could Shroud it, send Retribution, add back Branded Fusion, activate it right then and there. No issue, nothing is stopping it. Negate the activation, mates. Please do it. It looks like we're doing it. Looks like we know. We're in the know. And if we don't know, the Branded Fusion's gonna be glowing in our hand. It's like, oh, what the? Let's just do it. He knew. Pariah knows. And there you go. Double Branded Fusion in one freaking turn. We have Lubellion on summon here, which does not get stopped by the Little Knight. Tragedy is also going to be searching our deck. We already used up our normal summon. Ad Libitum, I've not seen you for a while. Ad Libitum was an OG branded on freaking release, and then we stopped using it. We have branded opening, discard away the Libitum as the Quem on summon will send from the deck a that's not Cartesia, that's a Ecclesia in this deck. We got a wild version of the deck here. Banish the Mercurier, search our deck for a Cartesia, which if we have Albaz on the field or engraved, we can summon from our hand. We're gonna banish away the Crystron, trigger the Quem, reborn the Ecclesia. Oh my Jesus. As we now Ecclesia jump off the field into our Albaz. Albaz can just fuse up with the Infinity if we want to, and that's exactly what we're doing. Into Albion, branded Dragon. We have Cartesia, which can special summon as the Albaz is still engraved. We have our Dragostapelia here, ain't no way. Now, the Mirror Jade is a soft per 2 turns, meaning we want to get the Mirror Jade in graveyard to then reborn it back with a Banishment or a Quem. We're gonna Albion in the end phase, set a red as the High Spirit also adds back to the hand. Cartesia, add back to the hand. Ecclesia, add back to the hand. Ooh, lots of add back. We have the Brandon Red to fuse with the Albaz. We have Dragostapelia being able to negate. We have Quem, which could reborn the Albaz, fuse at their side of the field. We have the Sulfaneer triggering as the Grand Granola is going to summon from the extra deck, which will actually be potentially blocking the Quem if we were to summon from the deck instead into a main monster zone. We have Perskenian, which can now target an extra deck monster in the grave and banish it or steal it if it's properly summoned. Inclusion searching for a Sulfador. You have to note that with the Sulfador summon, as an opposing player and as a Crystron player, that they're now summon locking themselves. You cannot special summon for the extra deck for the rest of the turn except machine monsters. And it's very important to note that because what's a popular play going second, something like summoning a Little Knight is now not possible to do. Perskenian, wait, that Baron de Fleur is properly summoned. We're actually stealing a Baron freaking de Fleur. No way. What the heck happened in this duel where we now have the opponent's Baron freaking de Fleur on our field? That is wild. It's not negated. It's not like a Widow Anchor steal. It's a full effect. Negate and destroy the Sulfador. Now, you're still locked out of the extra deck for non-machines. We have Bisfern searching our deck for a Sulfaneer. We already activated the Sulfaneer. We're going to Tributes on for Sulfaneer. We could use the Inclusion to reborn from the grave here. Let's further synchro this up into a Crystron Synchro, which will add back the cluster in grave to battle phase we go, reducing the opposing field by 500 attack and defense. Set the cluster and pass. Branded in red. During the end phase, we're going to grab back the Ad Libitum. We're going to banish away the Mirror Jade, Ecclesia, and Ad Libitum for the Chimera. This is the OG play. Ad Libitum is going to reborn the banished Mirror Jade back on the freaking field. Holy moly. This is a draw 2, pop 1, reborn Mirror Jade to non-target monster, banish again, which we could banish that if we are doing it. We're doing it. Send Mirror Jade to banish your monster away. Look at that field. Perfect 17,000 damage. Beautiful. Lethal damage. Nicely done. Nicely done. It really does suck that Dragster Infinity and Baron to floor, negate the activation of Branded Fusion. I would say this is not a good matchup, even though we have Cluster, which can make it so the Mirror Jade can't even banish our monsters. We're going to be going second. We have adding of the Fiendsmith, Tracked Lurie. May as well just call this Fiendsmith Lurie at this point. Now we have the activation of Drill Beam to target, negate, and banish. So this is similar to Ash Blossom. Ash and Drill Beam are going to be for Branded Fusion. You don't want to use Caesar on Branded Fusion because they could activate Branded Fusion. But think about this. Activate Branded Fusion, negate with Caesar. Okay, activate Branded Fusion, negate with Caesar. Activate with Branded Fusion again, and we could do that with 2 Branded Fusion plus a Retribution within the same turn to force a Branded Fusion through the Caesar. Thus, you don't want to negate with Caesar. 2 Special Summon plus Ascend from the Grave. We have a Drill Beam, we have an Ash, we have a Veiler. 6 forms of disruption we have to play through. Let's go. How do we play through Drill Beam and Ash on our Branded Fusion? That's going to be the big question. Preempting the Serenir here, and you may be thinking that's a bad play to do, right? And I could agree with you, but we already want to activate the High Spirits. It's not about preempting the Serenir. That's secondary to activating the High Spirits here. Negate the High Spirit, and you may be thinking Ash is for Branded Fusion. Well, if you have Drill Beam and Ash for Branded Fusion, so we could freely use the Ash or Drill Beam on something else instead. This is where Bash is just like, bro, I know you got Drill Beam, you got Caesar, you got Fiendsmith in Paradise, probably got something else in your hand. Why am I wasting my time here? Let's just go to the next duel. Lordy Load grabbing the Primite Roar. Let's roar, summon from the deck here a Dippity. We're going to be reborning our DPE. Now, Wave King Caesar looks like it's a dark monster, but you can see with the blue, obviously it's a water. Thus, we're not going to be able to super poly the Caesar and DPE. You have 2 special summon negates, non-target pop, draw and Lockbird, stop them from adding. We also have engraved the Fiendsmith in Paradise to send a card from the field to the grave on special summon. 5, disrupt. Albion, send the Branded Fusion, chain the High Spirit. Now, we're going to get drolled here as we send the Titanclad, search our deck for an Albaz, as we're now going to attempt to fuse the opponent's side of the field. Droll it up, no more adding. We're going to set the Albaz and then fuse up with the DPE, so we lost a disruption. We still have Fiendsmith in Paradise. They're still under droll. They just lost their Wave King Caesar. Done. 2 disruption gone. We have Fiendsmith in Paradise plus active droll. Add the Branded Fusion from Engraved to our hand, completely circumventing the draw lock, as we now make a Rinbrum. Rinbrum is here, which can, guess what? Rinbrum negates the Fiendsmith in Paradise play. When a card activates, where is it? A Fusion Synchro Caesar Link activates, does not have to be on the field, does not say it has to, from the extra deck. Engrave, Desiree, negate. Got him. Nicely done. Begin. Said Super Poly Pass. Ain't no way. What is going on? Fiendsmith tracked, add from the deck the Lurie without committing to a normal summon. We're threatening lethal damage. Lurie could turn straight up into a lethal. We have Maxi chain to the Lurie Reborn. And if we're not going to be playing Droll, instead we could just sit back on our hand traps and be okay. We have Ash Blossom negating the Lordy Load, trying to minimize the impact of their non-special summoning turn, as they simply end the turn on triple disruption. Perfectly fine. Now, because we have double Branded Fusion in our deck, we are more likely to just rip it off the top of the deck, activate it right away. They have no Ash Blossom in sight. Come forth, Albion Branded Dragon. I think Impulse stocks are going to be going up as soon as Malice comes out. That's a very powerful card that a deck like Branded does not have to deal with. So Branded is unfortunately going to get worse as soon as Malice comes out. Let's banish away the Effect Veiler here. Serenir sent to the grave for our Bestial Lubellion. The reason I'm saying that is because Impulse is just like another Ash on Branded Fusion, if I didn't already say that. Lubellion setting up the Branded Lost. Super Poly on Chain Link 1, ensuring that you cannot respond to our Mood Dragon summon. Lost on the summon, searching for a Quem, which we do have our active normal summon for. We're going to turn the Mood Dragon into light, making the Quem untargetable from a Veiler. You can still activate Ogre if you want to. And we're getting ready with that Nibiru. Branded in white. Send to the graveyard from the field, banish from engrave for our Mirror Jade play. Quem trigger, reborn our Cartesia. And Nibiru. Now we're going to Mirror Jade non-target monster banish to ensure we have a Titan Cloud and graveyard to summon from the deck, possibly a Quem during the end phase. Banish away the Quem, tribute off the field, and from here, we are going to be triggering the Albion, Titan Clad. Mirror Jade's going to wipe away the field during the end phase. Cartesia's going to add back within the end phase. It's not really a big deal for Branded to get Nibiru'd. They're almost guaranteed to have a way to set up banishment to then just reborn the Mirror Jade you sent to the grave. Bean, Smith, Tract, grab Lacrima, discard away that dead drawn Lockbird. We have Lacrima on summon, send from the deck the Engraver. Engraver, return back the Lurie, come forth and summon as the Magna Hut banishes away the Engraver. Not today. Banish. Oh boy, Magna Hut, activating the search for a dragon in the end phase. We're now going to make a Requiem. Requiem is going to jump off the field, summon from the deck our Engraver. Engraver does have the ability with the equipped Requiem to send a card from the field to the graveyard. We're going to Chaos Angel. Angel is here. So a big question is, why play Dippity? Dippity being a level 4 is great for the Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel cannot activate on summon. It does not have the battle protection, but it is unaffected by monsters activated by your opponent, the activate effects here. Very good. End phase, add back the Serenir from Engrave with the effect of the Magna Hut. We have Banishment, reborning our Mirror Jade. We're unaffected from the effect of Mirror Jade trying to banish us. So how do we deal with the Chaos Angel? Well, the Nibiru token, 7,000 attack, and you can be destroyed by battle. Very easily, we're going to deal with the Chaos Angel. 3,500 damage to the face. It just like that Mirror Jade for game. Well. Nibiru token being relevant. 2-1 victory. Let's keep on going. Normal summon to this turn. We're going to pop it with the Sulfador. Special summon. We're now locked in the machine type monster from the extra deck only. Send from the deck an Inclusion plus a Smiger. We could go into very easily, pretty much whenever we want, we can make a Dragster, which will be able to negate a spell or trap card, but at least it's going to have to be in response to an activation or within the main phase or battle phase through the effect of Citri. We have negate anything with Infinity. We can finger a card in the grave. We can cluster, pop a card on the field, and then the Tristaros alongside the Citri. If the Citri turns into a Dragster, we could possibly go into maybe a Vermilion Dragon Mech. We're not playing the Excel Synchron. I don't think we play another copy of Citri in the deck to go into Aquarion, so it's a big maybe extra form of disruption. Tract, add a Lurie. Vermilion Dragon Mech is not even a disruption if summoned during the opponent's turn. I just don't think it's going to be a disruption. It's not going to. Requiem, jump off, summon for the deck. I guess what you could do is Citri, make Dragster, cluster, return back Citri, and then Tristaros go in Aquarion. So I guess that would be the way. Call by the grave, finger the Requiem. Banish and negate. Nicely done. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 other forms of disrupt here. Diablo Star on summon. We're going to respond with Tristaros. Tristaros is going to be summoning from the deck as we go into our Dragster play. Now, Citri cannot go into Aquarion, unfortunately. You can only synchro with the Citri itself plus the card we reborn from Engrave. The Citri is not really a form of disruption. we have the Deception Sinful. We could wait for the activation of the effect, not the activation of the card. The effect is a hard once per turn, and it's a cost attributing a monster. That is the perfect time to Dragster negate. We still have the Cluster, which could pop a card in the field, which is, in addition to the Infinity, our last two forms of disruption. We're going to Cluster, pop away the Chaos Angel as the Cluster now gets banished. Now, we could still access our banished Cluster. Wait, what happened here? Did it, we targeted it? Cluster, oh, you can't get banished. Crystron cards cannot be banished. Nice try. But even if it was banished, which there are ways to banish it, you could chain, let's say, a Drill Beam to its activation to banish it. You then still grab it back with a Crystron Synchro. Cyber Dragon Infinity negate the Call of the Grave. The Cluster's only protecting the Crystrons on the field. Citri doesn't even get to resolve. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Well done, let's hop into game number 2. Sword Knight, summon from the deck our Gazelle. What the hell? Grab from the deck our Necrom. We're now going to Chimera Fuse with the Necrom. Necrom could banish from the graveyard to summon from the deck a Light Fiend to go into the Fiendsmith plays if we'd like to. As we have Baphomet sending from the deck to the grave as the Gazelle triggers to search for an illusion monster. With the Apollo, we're going to trigger the Lacrima being sent to the grave burn for 1200. Let's talk about our forms of Disrupt. We're going to be activating the Sword Knight, which will be activatable in graveyard to negate a monster on the field if we have a Phantom Beast on the field fusion. And we have triple monster negate with the Apollo USA. We have the Ash Blossom negate. We have Imperm negate. We have about 6 forms of Disrupt. We also have Codal Protection. If they target us, we can negate and destroy. Baphomet, grabbing Gazelle and Chimera Fusion. Sure. We're going to pop the Smyger here. Apollo say is going to say no. Oh, we're not popping it. We're just activating the Sulfaneer. Sulfador will follow up, try to pop the Smyger. Now we're trying to pop the Smyger. Apollo say negate. Down to 4 forms of Disruption mate. Smyger now big enough to swing into the Apollo. We now lost a Disruption there. We still have Chimera Fusion, Imperm, Ash. With the Chimera Fusion, it will either be a Disruption or turn on the Sword Knight. We have Ash Blossom negating the Smyger. Not today. Negate. And we still have not used the Millennium cards. We're going to chain Baphomet to target our banished Necrom, reborning it onto the field in response to the Golem activating, which the Apollo could have negated the Golem activating from the hand, which is why we waited. This is the activation of a spell, summon from the back row, and then grab our Wedgie Temple, further going into a Little Knight. Now, we could have not gone into Little Knight if the Sulfador resolved. Let's read this. It's part of the effect of also you cannot special summon non-machine monsters from the extra deck. So the Almirage would have been no good, the Little Knight would have been no good. We're going to Imperm, attempt to negate the Little Knight. Little Knight's just going to dodge the negate. So we're not negated. And we're banishing 2 cards. Goodbye to the Baphomet. Goodbye to the Chimera Fusion. And now we're done. We have nothing. Nada. We're going to put 2 cards in the back row, summon our Senjin for the back row. We can activate the Senjin from the hand. And then this is where we YOLO into a zombie vampire. I would not be surprised if we see this card on the ban list because of the Millennium cards. What's the collateral damage? Are any of you using this without Millennium and you'd be very upset about that? Let's detach. Mill 4, summon off the top of the deck. Our Smyger passed. It whiffed. It wasn't that good. We are now going to Norma Gazelle, search for nothing here, return Lacrima back, reborn our Engraver. Engraver into the Requiem. Requiem, come forth into Crimson Tear, send from the deck here. We're going to Wanted Seeker, grab a Diablo Star. Summon Diablo Star as we grab our Deception Sinful, further going into a Fiendsmith sequence. Sequence fuse at the graveyard into Fiendsmith Lacrima. Lacrima, reborn the Engraver, Requiem equip. We're going to Little Knight, chain banish the Engraver here as we chain Chimera Fusion to the Little Knight. Little Knight will stay on the field if the Engraver gets fused with. There we go. Chimera, King of the Phanta Beast now here. Lacrima, for some reason, has the additional effect of reducing the opponent's monsters by 600 attack to further help us inflict lethal damage. Randomly discard during the add. I don't think we're going to get to the end phase. We have Chimera Fusion, add back engraved to our hand. Necrom, banish, summon from the deck a Dusted Gold. Let's Chimera Fuse it up. Further going into Moa Regina, triggering the Lacrima, burn for 1200 at 1600 life. Can we win? Moa Regina, reborn from engrave our Nightmare Apprentice, which will on-summon, search our deck. We didn't have to discard to activate it. Further going into a Chaos Angel on-summon, banish a card off the field. Banish away that Smyger here. Deception Sinful, Chimera, oh my Jesus. Moa Regina chaining to the Deception Sinful, as when an Azamina or Sinful card is activated, if it's not chain link blocked by the opponent by chaining literally anything, we get to destroy up to 2 cards on the field. Open field, lethal damage. Let's go. Very nice. Got to block the Regina, similar to a Lady Labyrinth. The banless update, I think, will be in 2 to 3 days from now. Can turn the Tristaros into a spell and trap card negate. We can Infinity negate anything. We can Photon Lord negate a monster effect. We have Cluster pop 1 to 2 cards on the field. We have Imperm negate a monster. We have Maxi, not a form of disruption, but 5 disrupt plus Maxi. We have Ash negate the Maxi. We have Photon Lord to negate the Ash. Uh-oh. Nightmare Apprentice is here. And response to the Nightmare Apprentice, searching the deck. We have Ash to negate the Tristaros mate. Are we going to use Photon Lord? Yes, we are. Negate. The negate. Not today. 4 forms of disrupt is the way. We're not using Imperm onto the effect of searching for a card. We want to use it on something more meaningful. Grab from the deck the LZ. Now we're going to max C as the Necrom banishes to summon from the deck into a Dusted Gold. Chaos Angel. Now, if there's a Chaos Angel on the field, do not click on it from the duel log. If you click it on from the duel log, maybe they fixed it actually. That's good if they fixed it, right? Or I think duel log is still bugged potentially. I think the duel log will always have it highlighted, but make sure you click on the field. As you can see from the duel log, it's not attributed to being controlled by any player, their possession that is. If you click on the Chaos Angel on field, the color changed to blue. Meaning now it's going to properly show you the effects it has, otherwise it would be grayed out. It's unaffected by monster effects activated, and it cannot be destroyed by battle, nor can any of your monster. On summon, banish. Imperm, negate the Chaos Angel mate. Very nice. Now, to battle we go, big enough to take out the Infinity. We have the Chaos Angel eating up an Imperm and a Cluster. We're going to set pass, unfortunately. That is not so good, obviously. Cluster can only pop a face-up card. Everything in attack position. We have Sulfaneer, discard Smyger here, popping the Wedju Temple. Smyger banish, search our deck for an Inclusion. Inclusion, reborn a monster from engrave, which could be an attack position. We're going to further synchro into the Crystron level 7. I should just try to say its name, right? LS, Crystron level 7 synchro. We're going to use the effect of the Cluster to try to pop the Sword Knight since it cannot be destroyed by battle. We're going to use the Photon Lord to negate the Sword Knight from summoning from the deck a monster. Negate. And with that, we have an open field. This is surely enough for lethal. Yes, it is. Attack, attack, attack. 4th attack for game. Lethal damage. 2-1 victory. Thank you, Chimera, for showcasing your good stuff. I very much enjoyed watching. And I think a good thing with Chimera recently, with Branded Fusion being semi-limited, we could more likely than before possibly mix Branded Fusion with the deck. As soon as Branded Fusion went from 3 to 1 in TCG, that is the moment that all Chimera players just dropped it from the deck, where otherwise the best way to play Chimera was with Branded. What the? Second light. No spell or trap cards in your graveyard, draw 2. Ooh, we pass in. What the heck? Sulfaneer needs a non-Sulfaneer to discard here Full loss is dead until we use Droplet and Imperm, which will be our double form of disruption. Sekka get drawn. Draw 2. Poseidra is going to be enabling the effect on from the deck and send a card from the field back to the hand. Get ready to bounce the impermanence. No, don't do that. Just let Imperm go back to your hand. What are you negating? You negated Imperm go back to your hand. That's literally all you negated. Yeah. Don't do that. Negated nothing. All right, summon from the deck, Prince. We have Dragoon triggering to search our deck for a Minstrel to look at the hand and get ready to Droplet. I mean, think about this. We'd have Imperm in hand activatable. Straight up, get Imperm. Negate. As Dragoon searches for the Elemental Lord, which we would have to Imperm that. On summon, I mean, we're going to lose anyway, right? We're a chain full loss, so it doesn't really even matter what the heck we do here. We brick turn 1, unfortunately, and that's just simply what happens. If the other Sulfaneer was literally any other Crystron, we had great turn 1 plays. Let's speed this up. Finish him. Yeah, so am I literally meaning that we negated nothing? Literally, the effect is to bounce. The cost is the good effect of triggering. So I do literally mean we negated nothing besides a beneficial effect. All right, we are going first. We have a better hand here. There are 2 disruptions tied to the Dragster negating. So I would say a hot tip here is against Crystron, think about just not activating a card that the Dragster can negate. Because if Dragster becomes level 5, only when it becomes level 5 can the Tristaros now use the Dragster to go into a Baron de Flor, to go into Aquarion. With it being level 7, we can't interact with it with the Tristaros in a meaningful way. I don't think so. Yeah, looking at the extra deck, no. So you see Excel Synchron into Baron de Flor, must be level 5. Quarion, this would be summon a Citri, 2/2 + 5, completely cut off. So we would essentially just have Infinity negate anything, Cluster pop a card, Little Knight banish, and then Drone Lockbird. That's 4 forms of active disruption, 6 if the Dragster can negate something. So from 6 to 4. Yep, there goes the Infinity. Then 5 or 3. So 3 to 5 disruption. Tias is triggering, Little Knight is banishing, the Ash and the Tias get the heck out of here. Dragoons is searching, Tias is searching, get searching. We have the Abyss Shrine. Shrine's gonna give us access to an Ice Shade Ran or the Deep Sea King. Now, Droll should beat Mermail. They love to search. We should just win now, right? Well, let's see. We're going to send an infantry to deal with the cluster. Cluster is going to deal with the Poseidra. And what we're left with is we just have Dragster into Tristaros, which we have 0 disruption. That's it. Tristaros is not going to turn into a disruption. Dragster is going to negate nothing. Please activate a spell so I could use Dragster and then go into a Baron de Flor, please. Otherwise, they're just doing nothing. I feel this pain. I personally, on an almost undefeated 9 win streak run with my Crystron, this is the only deck I lost to. Because they did not give me something to negate with Dragster. I was pissed. Goodbye to the whole field. Oh my Jesus. Not cool. Holy 11,000 plus damage. Lethal damage. That is why, instead of writing undefeated in the title, I have to now write 88.88% win rate with Crystron in Stage 2 World Champ Qualifier. Thanks a lot, Mermail. Let's go. Game 1, Maxi in the draw phase. Ash negate. Let's go, mate. We have a triple monster negate, plus possibly... No, we don't have a Fiendsmith in Paradise play. Just triple monster negate. Can we deal with this? This Vern is attempting to pop itself, which locks you into Synchro Machine only. You can't summon a Cyber Dragon Infinity if this resolves. We're now activating. We did not negate the Senjin activating from the hand, which now the Senjin could just swing over the Apollo. It does eat up the battle phase if we're maybe okay with that. So goodbye to that. But I guess the fear was if we negate Senjin, then that this Vern will swing over Apollo, but the Senjin will swing over Apollo. I can't say I really agree with not negating that. I feel like we kind of had to. We're just in a bad spot. And this is a big part on why the Millennium Engine helps break boards. Big bodies, big push. We could Doom Dragon, push a monster on the field even. And then further go into Little Knight, which could protect our plays. Little Knight banish away the King Sark. And we did lose our own King Sark field spell. What the heck are we doing with the Gen? Gen summoned Ken. Ken is going to allow us to draw 2, then discard. Let's freaking go. Oh, we got tracked. That was good. Sure. Grab a Lurie, discard that Lurie. We're only dealing with a Little Knight here. Lurie reborn as we now summon the Requiem. Requiem jump off into Crimson Tier. Little Knight banish here. You can still make a sequence with the Gen, return back the sequence, reborn the Engraver, equip, send a card on the field to the grave or a monster. First battle, thanks to the attack boost, it's going to go back into the back row. Gen, oh crap. Was that a mistake? Going to the battle phase because they go back to the hand? Now we can't make a sequence? Let's send the Senjin as the Lacrima Crimson reborns during the end phase. Yeah, during the end phase of the end of the battle phase, they have to return back to the hand, then we can't use them for a play. We had sequence into, I mean, I guess we had Lacrima stuck in the graveyard still. Sure. We're going to Sulfador, pop the Tristaros, send from the deck, Smyger, banish, add Inclusion. Inclusion, grab the cluster. Inclusion, reborn from Engrave our Tristaros. Further go into Crystron, level 7 Synchro. Get scooping. The correct play. I don't know what to call your deck, Vua. What is this? What, 60 card, mishmash, you what, mate? Let's hop into game 2. Maxi, right away. Okay, you know, you stopped my Lurie play, sure. And let's see what we have here. We have a special summon, Terror Top, grabbing the Take Tom board, getting hit with the Droll. Now, under the effect of Droll, how many great plays can we make? Benny can send from the deck to the grave. Smyger can't search. We're now going to further go into the Millennium Engine, which Millennium Engine, if you were able to search, would be 7750 damage on the field. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that. As we now, in main phase 2, go into an Apollo USA. Is this a Crystron deck? What the heck is going on? Triple monster negates. What now? When do we give them the turtle? We're gonna grab a Lacrima, discard the Lurie. Lurie is going to be triggering. I guess we don't want to give them the turtle. We want the turtle for our own side. Is that gonna be a reasonable expectation though? Now we're kaijuing? Not before the Lurie. I guess we changed our mind. Yeah, that didn't work out. We're gonna send from the deck an Engraver, return back the Lurie, reborn, and let's see what happens here. We're gonna further turn the Engraver into Requiem, summon from the deck our Engraver, equip onto the Engraver, send the turtle we gave them to the graveyard, further going into a sequence. Sequence, fuse at the graveyard into Lacrima, Crimson, regular Lacrima that is, reborn the Engraver, and let's get swinging. This game? Lacrima, 1200 damage per game? Yup. Let's go. That's it. Just like that. Vua with the lethal damage. Burn for game. Millennium ended the duel early. Yeah. We would not have had lethal otherwise. We have Terror Top come forth here searching for the Take Tom board, not getting drawn lockbirded. Our forms up, wow, Maxi. If we had that rule where we start with our 6th card and not draw for our turn, this would have been a much different freaking duel, mate. They had no way to stop the Max C. Wow. Now, beyond that, Quadra Monster negate anything. We could go into a spell and trap card negate. We could pop up to 2 cards on the field. We could droplet negate multiple monsters. We could imperm negate a monster. 9 disruption with Crystron because of the Apollo adding so many extra negates. If we Widow Anchor negate, they're going to have to use Infinity to negate it because the Tristaros will not be ready to negate. Chicken game. In response, we're going to go into the Dragster with a spell and trap card negate. Yes, sirree. Ready to spell and trap negate. Chicken game, draw into a Horus. Upstart into a Mobilize. We want 3 spells in the graveyard before activating it, ideally. Dragster, negating and destroying the 3rd spell, ensuring that we can now engage. Now, will Infinity negate engage? It's kind of like a Pot of Greed, but even better. You get to search for what you want, plus draw another card. Negate. We're going to Widow Anchor. Negate the negate. We're going to cluster. Pop our own monster so that you can't negate with your negate negating our negate. Return back the inclusion. Wipe away. And now the engage will not be searching plus drawing 1. You still have 4 negates on Apollo. Are we giving up? Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, all right. Well, you know, that was the best play we could do given the circumstance. Well done to both of you. Thank you. Let's hop into another match. Millennium, 60 card deck here. Let's start this off with a Blue Eye Summon from the deck. What the heck? A Flame Bell Guard? Huh? Into Spirit Dragon Pass. This is going to be an Ultimate Dragon, negate, Call with the Grave Finger, Mate, Drone Lockbird, plus a Veiler. It's 4 disruption, maybe 5 if we have a good card to negate and grave. So I'm just going to say the ceiling is 5, but it's mostly just 4. Who would loss? Right now, right away. We're not going to even finger it. Imperm just fully negated. And we didn't want to get them to draw under Fua Loss. So we're now down to 3 disruption. Veiler negate the connector. And we just have Droll and Called By. That's it. Well, that did end our turn. Okay, you got me. Well, back to us. Now our Spirit Dragon is fine and well. As we simply end our turn, we're back to potential double disruption, Finger, Ogre, and a Droll. Gearblade boost. Send the Gearblade to the graveyard to summon from the deck our Ricardetto. We're going to jump off, lose a disruption, go into the Ultimate Spirit Dragon to negate an activation of a card in the field. Now when it negates, it does not destroy. So she's just going to stay on the field, negate, and we still have Call by the Grave, Droll, and Ogre. We have the Turpin equipping Call by the Grave, Finger the Turpin. This is also Chainlink blocking her from activating her other effect of getting the Roland onto the field. Now, with just Ogre and Droll, we passing the Ultimate Spirit dying to reborn our Spirit Dragon back. 2,500, big enough to take out the Angelica. If this is targeted by an attack, she also activates. Yup, attack or card effect, she'll summon the Roland. Droll and Lockbird on the ad of the Mausoleum. That's fine. On the resolution, open game state, we're going to Spirit Eyes of Blue, reborn our Blue Eyes White Dragon here. You even play Maiden? Where's your Maiden? Boost up the Spirit Dragon. Attack into the Angelica. We're going to pop her. Does this matter? Let's read how she works. So the requirement to activate has happened. You send a fire from the deck to the graveyard, and if you do, banish this card. Then you could special summon one Roland from your deck or extra deck. So what do you think happens? Do you think there's going to be a Roland on the field because if she gets destroyed, she can still banish herself from the graveyard? No, she is not. She has to banish herself from the field in order to get that Roland out. She's moving locations. She's not originally in the same spot where she wanted to banish. And yeah, no Roland. But we got a Magus Engrave, which... White Lightning! Nice rolling. Yeah, I made it up. Golem into the back row. We have Ogre to stop that Golem. Just like that. That Golem was going to be full combo. And if not full combo, it was going to protect a combo if we had another combo. We also have Purge. Holy moly. Negate, back to back, even though the Ogre does not negate. It's kind of like an MST negate. We have Ogier sent for the deck. Veiler, negate. So think about Bass. If Bass were to go first, and let's say their wishes gets negated by an Ash, they still have a ton of other hand traps to sit on, thus naturally giving them good hand trap resilience, or they were to get Maxied or Fool Loss, just having all the other hand traps to just sit on would be good. You now have Barrel. Barrel is a good inclusion to any deck to give you more resilience against a Maxi and Fool Loss. If they were to Maxi or Fool Loss you in the draw or standby phase and you have a Barrel, you don't care in a lot of cases. Ideally, you'd have the Drill Beam still be activatable without having to use Load to summon a normal monster onto the field. We have Mausoleum, additional summon, our Sage with Aza Blue. Come to me, the Maiden of White. I think a category I should put here, another one is Recursion. Recursion, like Fiendsmith, is really good recursion. Barrel, Recycle / Drill Beam is also really good recursion in your deck. We are now going to True Light set into the back row a Majesty. Yeah, we have to Nibiru now. Why would we not Nibiru? End of the main phase, you know, the Lordy Load has not activated yet to summon for the deck. I think that we possibly did toggle off, and we just missed our opportunity. If our Nibiru actually did go through, do we still have a chance to win this duel? I mean, they're going to have still the Majesty. The Drill Beam can still be turned on. It's not turned on by a token, by the way. I think someone said that previously incorrectly. If you control a normal monster or a level 5 or higher, except a token, you can activate this effect without revealing a card. We're still in we're still in the main phase too. Okay. Now, it ended. Yeah, what happened? What happened? Maybe FM can give some insight into what happened. Okay, he toggled off for too long. And it is correct to toggle off your hand traps. You don't want to reveal that you have Nibiru, an Imperm, a Veiler, an Ash, but it comes with the risk. It now turns the game into a non-turn-based game. You gotta be very quick to untoggle off. Lubellion, searching our deck for the Magna Hut. What is our disrupt? Omachi, we're gonna Imperm right away. Now, the Desiree is untargetable, but we can use it onto the Caesar, and we are in the draw phase, so the Masquerena can't chain to the Impermanent, so we could also use Imperm onto the Masquerena. But check in the graveyard real quick. We also have a Fiendsmith in Paradise on special summon, send a card. 2 special summon negate. We could link off into a Little Knight, double banish. We could Desiree, send a card from the field to the grave. We could also link off with it. Well, we probably have another Desiree in the deck, extra deck, right? And then we have Imperm, plus we have Baldrake banish, plus potentially banish a monster from the extra deck. Possibly about 9 disruptions. But likely not gonna be that many. So now down to at least 7. Do we have another Desiree in the extra deck? We don't. So the Fiendsmith in Paradise play is, we're down to, we could still link off with the Desiree. We got non-target negated, so we lost the double banish, we lost the Desiree, we lost a way to get Desiree in graveyard. Look at all the disruptions are disappearing, mate. What do we even have left? We have Imperm, Baldrake banish, and Baldrake tribute. That's it. So a copium amount of disruption on the Baldrake. We're gonna Doom Dragon, push the Magna Hut to the back row. We're gonna Baldrake banish our own M7. We're now down to Imperm and the Baldrake. Return a card back, did not draw into a hand. Oh, we drew into Druid Swarm, so I guess we can kind of count that. Baldrake is now gone. We have Imperm plus the Druid Swarm. We now go into a Zombie Vampire. Zombie Vampire is going to mill and summon before the Druid Swarm could even banish. We have Imperm, negate the Zombie Vampire, and with the Druid Swarm left... Damn. Wait, I didn't know you were playing Crystron. You didn't reveal any Crystron stuff in game 1? Oh my Jesus. Wow, you both are not opening up too well. Well, we still have a ton of hand traps despite that. Let's send the Smiger. We can't stop the search. We can't stop the activation of Inclusion because Ogre is only once the card's already face up, then activating. We have Tristaros. Tristaros is now here. Sulfador, pop the Inclusion here. We do have Maxi, but Call by the Grave, Finger, negate first Tristaros, directly chain to the Maxi. We're going to Ogre, pop the Tristaros, and then Finger the Sea. Nicely done. I'd say Tristaros eating the Ogre is definitely a benefit. Maybe more ideal if it were to eat the Veiler here. Negate the Sea. Sulfador on summon, activate, send from the deck to the graveyard. This is where if we could use Droplet to send the Sulfador, if they were to have a face-up monster, that would have been ideal. Unfortunately, that Fualos is face down. We are now going to be reborning the Tristaros to the effect of the Inclusion, so we could still make this play. As we're now going to add back the Inclusion, that is okay. We're going to pop and then summon 3 bodies in the field, and after all 3 bodies are on the field, we could then drop the Nibiru. Nibiru right now. There is a risk if you wait for the Nova, but I think I was incorrectly saying a while ago that Nova could summon Infinity if tributed. That's obviously not the case. Unless you're cheating, the Nova could summon a Makaba. There was at least one tournament topping player that was playing Makaba, so, you know, ideally you just avoid that. Let's see what's good. We have Nibiru, Imperm, Droplet, Tristaros could go into a Dragster, Quadra Disruption. Nibiru going in. We're going to send Nibiru reduce down to not being big enough. Okay. And we have Moon of the Closed Heaven into the Requiem. When do we want to turn Tristaros into another body? By using Tristaros that could trigger regain to reborn Abystial, which there is none. We don't have to worry about Abystial. Come forward Dragster for a spell and trap card negate. We just have impermanence for the sequence. Or we could use it on the Lacrima, attempting to send from the deck an Engraver. Of course, after checking they have no Engraver, and they already activated the Requiem, only then can it be a safe play to negate. We're going to equip the Requiem onto the Lacrima. Let's send the Requiem and the Senjin for the Doom Dragon, push the Dragster back as we now go into Little Knight. Little Knight, banish away the Engrave Inclusion, which could have reborned the Engrave anything. So what do we want to top deck into here? Any Crystron monster will allow us to activate Sulfaneer to reborn and summon from the deck. Also, we would be able to use the effect of Sulfador with an on-field Crystron to reborn. So we could just cope that they just draw into a hand trap. Yeah, there you go. That's great. 4,800, mate. Now, Justinian has the Lacrima engraved to reborn the Requiem and ensuring that we do so within the main phase. In a simplified game state where we don't have to worry about triple tactics talent or them still having a battle phase or a full hand of other potential plays, this could be more safe to summon within the main phase. We're going to equip the Requiem onto you, and we now get to draw a card with Lubellion. Free draw. Search and draw a card. Get that into a Golem. Holy moly. Let's reborn the Engraver here. Engraver is top tier. Let's link it off into our Requiem. Requiem jump off, summon into Crimson Tier, send Engraver, further turn this into the Sequence. Sequence get negated by Impermanence, of course, a great negate. And from here, we're going to Magna Hut, banish away the Little Knight, trigger the regain, draw a card, search for a dragon in the end phase. We have Golem, summon itself from the back row, search for the Wedju Temple, further go into an M7. M7, target a monster engrave, add back the Engraver. Engraver, search our deck for a Tract. Tract, search for the Lurie, reborn the Lurie onto the field. As with the Lurie on field, we're going to use the track to fuse with the sequence and Lurie into a Fiendsmith Lacrima to target the Engraver, reborning itself back onto the field. Sequence equip onto the Lacrima, send the token to the graveyard, 6,900 damage on the field, which is lethal damage. That's more than 8,000 as soon as we get the Lacrima engraved to burn for the additional 1,200, exactly 8,100 damage. Branded, regained, unexpected die. You what, mate? As we attempt to summon for the deck, Ash, negate. If it ate the Ash to protect our tract, then who am I to criticize playing an unexpected die? That actually worked out quite well. With the Lurie, we reborn, we can't banish it with our Bestial until there's a body on field plus something worthy of banishing, which we're coming up on as the Engraver will be activating after the Requiem equips. Now, we could Druistorm banish. Perfect. Banish away. Regain, trigger, banish, return back the Engraver, normal summon the Ash, come forth, Fiendsmith, sequence. Sequence, fuse the graveyard into Lacrima. Now, there was a scenario where we don't return back the Engraver, because we would be able to, with the sequence into Lacrima, target the banished Lacrima, I should say the banished Engraver, and then add it back to the hand or summon it onto the field if we have not used Tract yet. And now we're going into Anna-freaking-Conda. Burn for 1,200 into DPE. Yes, sirree. DPE is here with the Elemental Hero Neos plus a Dasher. Non-target poppage as the Druistorm is going to send the Anaconda to the graveyard. Is this going to be the diff between both decks that's going to overcome the mirror match? We could non-target pop a Lordy Load activating. Wait a second, it's not mirror match. I see a Primite and I'm automatically thinking that this is Fiendsmith control. It is in fact Blue Eyes. So if you hate Fiendsmith, no Fiendsmith down here. We have the non-target pop of the Lordy Load, and with the non-target pop being continually activated every single turn, we're going to be fearing our True Light getting popped on the very next turn. Let's Spirit with Eyes of Blue, come to us, Mausoleum, discard the Ash, come to us, Roar plus our Sage. Let's Mausoleum so that we could additionally summon that Sage, searching our deck for the much-needed Maiden. Maiden is going to send to the grave, set up the True Light. This is all going to come down to on whether we play Nibiru ourselves or not. And if we do not cross out the Nibiru, we're about to lose our entire board. Are you ready? Baldrake is going to be banishing the Blue Eyes. True Light is going to be reborning the Blue Eyes in response to the Baldrake, which will trigger the Maiden to reborn. Do we play Nibiru? Father Eisen, show me the Nibiru. Wishes for Eyes of Blue, equip onto the Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is it. No, we do not play Nibiru. Shoot. That's a problem. Well, we lost our whole field. We ended on 0 disruption. The Baldrake aided disruption through the True Light having to reborn the Blue Eyes instead. I say have, it didn't have to, but it did. We would have lost to Blue Eyes, which would have been quite nasty. And then our field, which could have been forms of disruption, now gone. We just nothing. 0. Dasher's going to summon a Nibiru on the field. Double Nibiru cutscene. What is going on? Baldrake banishing away the Maiden of White. Let's return it back in the deck. Draw into an Imperm. And, that was all within the standby phase. DPE is here. DPE, get popping here. True Light does not know if it's going to get popped. It pretty much knows, because it's going to wipe out the entire field of monsters. So, of course, let's at least activate it. Or go for the unknown back row instead. And as we're like, wow, you had cross out, but not a Nibiru in your deck. And now, this being a best of 3, we can take that information into game 2 and 3. We don't have to summon a Wave King Caesar early anymore. We could just go for the full greed, as we now have that knowledge of no Nibiru definitively, straight up. Let's send the Requiem. Goodbye to the monster. Open field, 8,500 damage here. Finish him. So I'll try to note if I feel like he's playing into, making a bad play under Nibiru, knowing that he's not playing Nibiru. Sage with Azza Blue, grab a Veiler, so we know they have Maiden for sure. It's not a maybe. So if any other play they make that's not activating the Maiden, they're just delaying the Maiden. Now Maiden is going to be setting up the True Light setting up the Wishes, and now we got the Ash. Negate. So by knowing to not negate the Sage, not negate the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, negate the Wishes instead, perfectly done. The Mausoleum, which we're going to send a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the decks of the grave. Let's reborn the Blue Eyes White Dragon, trigger the Maiden, as we further turn this into a Spirit Dragon into a Nibiru. Shoot. That is a situation. And the turn now back to you. Now, despite getting Nibiru'd, we have Veiler, Ash, Druiswarm, triple forms of disruption. And we have secretly hiding in the grave the Jet Dragon, which is summonable if any of our cards get destroyed. Barrel negates with the Veiler Mate. Let's link this up into Moon. We have Ash for the Requiem. Requiem, jump off the field. We summoned Lacrina from the hand. We also just did not Ash. We hold an Ash for something else instead. Well, knowing we have Druiswarm, we could counter the Fiendsmith play through the Druiswarm and save the Ash for something else. So that does make sense to hold the Ash if you have a Bestial. Let's get Necroquip Princess in here, and the Ash negating a Fusion Destiny after baiting an Ash with the Requiem. Absolutely perfect. Great Ash discipline, not being in the linear mindset of I have to Ash a Requiem or I have to Ash a track. Just hold it because you had the Bestial, and we Ashed something way better. Reborn the Lurie, Fiendsmith sequence. Unfortunately, they're still cooking through all our freaking hand traps. What the heck? We Veilered, we Ashed, we Bestialed. We used all three of the hand traps at relatively good moments. They were well used. And now our Jet Dragon Secret Sauce is banished and gone. They're still summoning DPE. How is DPE still here? DPE popped the True Light. Ain't no freaking way. True Light wiped the entire field. Let's get some damage in here because we don't want the DPE to get sent to the grave by the Druiswarm. Setting up a Roar as we're going to just pop the Roar instead of the True Light. Okay, you want to set a card that's going to give you a play? I'll pop it instead. Let's reborn our DPE. And we could wait for the True Light, or whenever we want, just pop it. If they tried to commit to the field in any way whatsoever, we could just wipe the field by taking out the True Light. We at least, wow, we did not change True Light to the DPE. I don't know, mate. Okay. Goodbye to the Druiswarm. Send the Anaconda to the graveyard. We can't set Wishes. We can't set the Roar. We can't set a Majesty. If we reborn Blue Eyes, it wipes away Blue Eyes. So now you know. Why didn't we activate True Light? Because we couldn't set, and our monsters would have been wiped anyway. It makes sense. You can't set a card that you already have a copy of in grave. We are going to finger the Blue Eyes White Dragon before our DPE comes out, ensuring that the Majesty will not be activatable. Because he's got to be thinking, if he didn't chain True Light and he doesn't have Majesty in the grave, that's got to be a Majesty. You got to assume your opponent is smart, as they definitely are. Now, there's still another Blue Eyes in graveyard, despite us banishing the other. We got the barrel to our hand here. We're not going to pop the Majesty before, or I guess we're going to pop it right now, as we are going to be able to set up the Lordy Load without disruption. Goodbye to the barrel. DPE must pop itself. Say goodbye to the Mausoleum. Lordy Load can summon a normal monster and set up a Drill Beam. Not looking good for Blue Eyes. Or Primite Roar into Fiendsmith plays instead. Now, Lordy Load summoning a normal monster turns off the ability to activate special summon monsters for the rest of the turn. The Primite Roar doesn't. So what's the downside of the Roar? Well, the Roar requires you to control no monsters on the resolution of the effect in order to even summon. But once you meet that, you go full wombo combo from there, still being able to activate whenever you special summon. That is a 2-0 victory. So earlier someone was asking, DK, I'm struggling against Blue Eyes. How do I beat them? I mean, easy 2-0, right? Thank you, YouTube, for watching the top 16. We're now going into the top 8 with Blue Eyes against Crystron. 0, nada, no Fiendsmith in sight here within this match. So it will be quite an interesting matchup, as I think that a lot of people are sleeping on Crystron, and Blue Eyes is also currently nerfed as they have their Sage and Maiden semi-freaking limited. So I'll see you in the next video. Let's go.